Should I raise debt for my business? That's a very important question which each and every founder must ask themselves, that is their business ready for raising debt at that point of time. Now the question is not universal. It depends on each and every business. It depends on each and every stage. It's not a generic answer for each and every person. And also there are different kinds of debt as well. So understanding them also becomes an extremely important element before you are looking to actually pursue debt within your business, right? So today I'm going to be giving you a short summary regarding what each and every different types of debt which are available in the market, which you can adopt into your business and kind of grow and utilize which one makes sense for your business. Now, to be clear, I would only recommend debt for businesses which have over like 3 to 5 cr of turnover within the business. Anything less than that, I would not recommend you to get debt, because getting a debt and servicing the debt, it's a significant commitment. And if you do not have your cash flows in place, your predictable growth system in place, I would not recommend businesses to take debt, at least not a serious amount of debt. If you want to take a serious amount of debt like 1 cr 2 cr, you need to have at least 3 to 5 cr of annual revenue run rate. Only then you should explore debt. If you're smaller than that, you can look at small personal loan, like 2 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, which does the small monthly cash flow which you repay in 3 to 6 months. But for serious business debt, you need to have that kind of revenue run rate before you start looking outside. So what are the different kinds of debt available for most businesses, right? The first type of debt is obviously the core business debt, which you can look at when you have like 5+ year of revenue, right? At that stage, what happens is you can typically go to the banks and say that we have a steady business, we are a growing business, and I want this money to grow my business further. And more often than not, banks will happily kind of happily help you in terms of getting that debt, because they're seeing that you've already proven yourself, you're getting good results into your business. And that basic debt you can get at a very low interest rate as well. More often than not, it's going to be somewhere between 12 to 15% interest rate on a reducing balance rate. And it's an extremely easy way to get some quick money into your business. These kind of debt does not take more than a month or two to kind of enter into your system, right? So that is the first option which you have, very easy option which you can look at. Another option is asset financing, where if you want to buy a certain asset which is going to be helping you to grow your business further, right? So then you can get asset financing, you can get asset leasing as an option, where you get essentially the asset is mortgaged to the bank, and you can raise capital on the asset itself. Now there are two ways of going about it. One is the asset debt, where the asset is owned by you and the bank loans to you, and you have to pay the interest on a regular basis, right? That is one concept. The other concept is asset leasing, where the asset is owned by the lender, and you need to pay them for utilizing the asset on their behalf. So that is the typical concept between asset loan and asset leasing. And this is something which you need to be careful about, and you can easily kind of get this kind of capital as well, especially for assets which are very common in the market, and which is very high value with large industries, right? You can easily do that. Most of the medical devices are bought that way. Most of the EV cars which are bought by EV companies, they are bought this way. These are some of the common areas where people use debt. Another alternative option for debt is going to be in terms of bill discounting. Bill discounting is a very good way to get your bills discounted very quickly, and getting financing for your business as soon as possible, right? So for example, if you're supplying some product or service to a large company, like a BSE listed company or an NSE listed company, someone which has a market cap of 1,000+ cr, right? You can go to your bill discounting partners. They would give you the entire bill minus 3-5% depending on what the tenure typically is, and you can get your money upfront. So this takes care of a lot of working capital problems for your business. Most of the Amazon vendors, they do it. Most of the Flipkart vendors do it, and most of other large company vendors do this on a regular basis as well. It's a very well established practice when you're dealing with large companies, and you can get this capital quite easily, albeit with a 5% discount. So that is a very important aspect which you can look at. We help a lot of companies as well to kind of ensure that their working capitals are properly managed. They can get debt on time, and most of these are serviced within 1 to 2 months. So if you need help with getting debt for your business, you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to help you with getting debt for your business. Another option to get debt for your business is going to be going through NBFCs. Now NBFCs, they tend to be slightly more expensive because they take debt from other lending sources like banks, other HNIs and those guys, and they need to pay interest to those guys, and on top of that they add their own margin. So NBFCs can take slightly more risky loans compared to banks, which is where most startups typically operate in. So if you're an early stage startup with not proven track record, right, MDFCs can be a good way to raise debt. But at the same time, the challenge will be that you'll have to pay slightly higher interest rate, which could range from 15% to 21%, depending on the amount, depending on the category, and multiple other factors which are there. One more important channel which has come off late is RBF, which is called revenue based financing. This new channel is up available for companies which are doing at least 4 to 5 CR of revenue. And once you have that 4 to 5 CR of revenue, these companies would be willing to lend you money based on your monthly recurring revenues. So what happens is whatever revenue that comes into your system every month, they'll automatically get your MIS on a monthly basis, and they get a chunk of their revenue on a regular basis. Now this is an extremely expensive form of fundraising, especially for startups, because it can go from 21% to 24% depending on the range what is there. But it is extremely useful as well, because if you're not able to raise equity funding and you need some quick capital to act as a bridge before your next round, this can be extremely handy. Because for banks and NBFCs to lend you, you need to have at least 2 to 3 years of vintage where you can show those kind of balance sheets and P&L statements for at least 2 to 3 years. But if you don't have that, and for tech companies, this becomes an extremely good source for you to raise quick money. So RBF is a good option. For slightly more mature companies, venture debt is an extremely solid option, right? So if you are raising your Series A, raising $5 million, right, you can potentially, instead of raising the entire amount in equity, you can raise 20 to 25% of that through venture debt. And there are a lot of good venture debt partners available in the market, which we have partnered with as well. So if you are already raising your Series A and you want to close the round with some form of debt in the place, we can happily help you out with that as well. So what they do is, if you're raising a $5 million or $10 million round, they'll put in $1 to $2 million subject to commitment and confirmation that the rest of the rounds have been done by equity investors. If that is there, venture debt players would happily kind of come in, and they take equity as a collateral. So in the case that you're not able to service the debt, they'll get a portion of the equity within your company. That's how it typically operates. Now let's look at the pros and cons of debt versus equity, right? Now, thing is, equity funding has been glamorized a lot over the last 10 years due to the VC ecosystem. But the truth is, equity capital is actually the most expensive form of capital, because they essentially take percentage in your company, right? That's where it becomes extremely expensive. And this could be like significantly value capture, which they do now. Obviously, because they're taking the risk, they'll take the value for themselves, but that is an extremely expensive form of capital. So if your business is doing like 5-10 CR of revenue and you want to ensure that you don't end up diluting yourself too much, debt can be a very good option to ensure that you retain some of the equity, you don't end up diluting too much, and retain some of the equity for yourself. But at the same time, debt also comes with a lot of obligations that you have to compulsorily pay it back. Unlike equity, where the VCs are willing to take the loss in some cases, that that the money is VCs are pretty much sure that out of 100 investments, 90 of them are not going to make it, 10 of them are going to make it to the next level, right? So they are willing to take the loss. In the case of debt, there is no scope for that. They'll essentially take a huge type of commitment from you to kind of get that debt, and if they are not able to repay that debt, that could be a lot of severe consequences for your company. So that's why, if you're sure that your working capital is in place and you're in a position to finance that loan, only then you should consider taking debt for your business. If that is not there, then debt should not be a very viable option for your business. So these are typically the pros and cons of debt and equity, and the different channels in terms of raising debt and equity. So if you need to raise debt for your business or equity for your business, equity fundraising for your business, reach out to me on LinkedIn. Would be happy to help out. And if you like this channel, if you like the content that I'm posting over here, like, follow, subscribe my YouTube channel, and click the bell icon so that you are notified of all the future notifications which come through. Take care. Bye bye.